I know what you saw because we were all watching Aaron Rodgers last night. We also saw Tom Brady. We also saw Matthew Stafford. Who we didn't see is Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. I know they play tonight. I know they play tonight. But we don't care because guess what? As you can see based on what you're witnessing in the NFC conference, the Dallas Cowboys ain't gonna do anything this year. They just dead, and he know it too. That's why he wore that suit to try to bring attention that ain't warranted for. You know what time it is. I don't know why you showed up. I don't know why you showed up.
This is a good day.
Whatever. It's Monday. Monday Night Football. The Eagles are going against that other team. It's time for First Take, y'all. The week is over. Let's get it in.
The Eagles going to get.
He kicks it. It will be short, and Jamal's going to bring it out of there. Jamal Agnew still on his feet. Jamal Agnew brought it all the way back. Are you kidding me? A 66-yard try. Tucker's kick is on the way. It is good. The longest field goal in NFL history.
That was awesome. Jamar was like, just throw it up. So I was like, okay.
Touchdown.
Anytime you come up short, it's not a great feeling.
Everybody's not happy with how we played.
I believe in this football team. I believe in what we can do and what we will do.
I don't apologize for winning these games, no matter how we won them.
They are sparing no punishment on Justin Fields.
I was trying to throw that ball away. Marquez went up there and snatched it. Touchdown, good guys.
Kyle Juszczyk, he'll dive into the end zone. Their first lead of the night. Rodgers marshals the Packers into position. 3 seconds to go, down one. Kick to the upright. Good! Mason Crosby has done it again.
Hope you all had a fabulous weekend. Welcome to First Take. Thank you for hanging with us. The Hall of Famer, Michael Irvin. Good day, sir. Making the cross-country trip all over our TVs, Thursday, Sunday. Good stuff. And good to have you here with us. And, of course, Stephen A. Smith. Good morning.
Good morning,
I'm Molly.
How are you? I hope you had a wonderful weekend.
I did. Weather was beautiful. So much good football. Let's get right into it, guys.
That's right.
Because what a weekend it was. And it wasn't Sunday fun day for a lot of superstars. We'll get into all of that. But for Aaron Rodgers, it certainly was. Don't call it a comeback, y'all. He's been here for years. Rodgers reminding folks, I'm still that guy, making the impossible throws. 23 of 33, 261 yards, 2 TDs, and a 2-point win against NFC rival, the San Francisco 49ers. Here's Rodgers after last night's Gorilla.
My first thoughts in devising how I wanted to get us in the field goal range was how can I get 17 the ball. The energy in the locker room post-game, that felt like a win. It felt like it was such a growth moment for us. I'm really, really happy for the guys to feel that. And, it feels like, okay, now we're on our way. Now we can get into this. Now we know how to win. And we can get this thing moving in the right direction.
Michael Irvin, tell me this. What statement did Aaron Rodgers and the Packers make?
I've been on Aaron Rodgers with all that has gone on in the offseason. Mm-hmm. What Aaron Rodgers said last night, and I tweeted it, I said Aaron Rodgers has 37 seconds. 37 seconds. If he can do it, he can make everybody shut the hell up about my offseason and let's focus on right now.
Right.
And that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did with the way he played in that game. He said, shut the hell up. Aaron Rodgers, I'm done. You got it, buddy. You did it. You're going to shut me up. Let me tell you the significance of that. In the locker room, everybody don't like each other. That's why I always tell people, in this game, football teams and organizations don't win championships. Football families do. Because the road to a Super Bowl is never paved smoothly. It's paved with peaks and valleys. Everybody's going to go through the valleys. Who's going to see everybody in the NFL. And if you're a team, or should I say a family, that can go in that valley and you get closer together in that valley, because teams and organizations are going to point fingers, and you come out better, then yeah, you got a shot at doing something in the Super Bowl. And they went in that valley, and Aaron Rodgers brought them out stronger and better and ready to say, we're ready to battle for a Super Bowl. Now, that was incredible. And those incredible throws That was incredible. That is that dude right there.
Well, he's a bad man, as I've told y'all on many, many occasions. Now, that doesn't take away from the fact that his week 1 performance was absolutely atrocious. This is why it was atrocious, because we're accustomed to seeing the level of greatness that we witnessed last night. Having said all of that, let's compartmentalize this thing in the manner that it should be. Because quite frankly, I don't think you did that great of a job of giving Aaron Rodgers the credit that he was doing.
Okay. You don't think I gave him enough?
I don't think you gave him enough.
I thought it was a strong take.
I don't think it wasn't that strong. It wasn't that strong.
Looking to the future.
It wasn't that strong. It wasn't as strong as that suit, but we'll get into that another day.
The suit is strong.
The suit is strong. The suit is strong, but here's the deal, Michael Irvin. First of all, did you see that 12-yard strike to Valdez-Scantling for TD? Did you see the 25 over the middle to Devontae Adams? Did you see the dimes that Aaron Rodgers was throwing, the 25-yarder and then the 17-yarder to put Crosby in position for his 51-yard game-winning field goal? This dude right here was so special. Let me tell you a couple of things that jump out to my mind about what the significance of this means. Number one, Green Bay should be ashamed of itself for giving him the problems that they gave him. That was well chronicled all season. So let me get this straight. Some dude named Jordan Love, you want to give love to because you drafted him and what have you, instead of recognizing the greatness that is right there before you.
Right.
This is, as far as I'm concerned, it didn't eradicate this offseason. It illuminated it. Because by seeing Aaron Rodgers do what he did, playmaker, you sat back and said, this is the dude that you were disrespecting. This is the dude that you wasn't giving enough deference and respect to. This is the dude that you had alienated to such a degree. Gouda cunts. All right, Matt LaFleur and the rest of y'all. This is the dude that you were giving problems to. What the hell is wrong with y'all? That's the one thing that jumped out of my mind. Here's the other thing that jumped out of my mind, playmaker. You know what it is.
What's
you
that?
know where I'm going.
Where you going?
You know where I'm going.
Oh, no.
When I watched Aaron Rodgers ball the way that he balled yesterday, we know Tom Brady is there. We've speculated about Matthew Stafford being there. Now he's a member of the Los Angeles Rams, which we will get into in just a few minutes. All I thought about was all this noise about them damn Cowboys. All this noise. What y'all gonna do now? Because guess what?
Cowboys? I thought you were going to go Patrick Mahomes.
Not at all. Not at all. Oh, I'll get into the Patrick Mahomes.
Anytime.
Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers debate later on in the show. That's coming too. But here's what I'm saying. I'm saying you Dak Prescott living in the NFC least with Washington and the Giants. Don't get me started with your Giants. All of a sudden, I'm looking at the NFC. I'm looking at Tom Brady. I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers. I'm looking at Matthew Stafford. I even saw Jimmy Garoppolo ball last night. Jimmy G, you the one that gave him a nickname, not me, okay? And we can't discount Russell Wilson, even though Seattle's on a 2-game losing streak, which we will also get into. Oh, Mina Khans, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. I can't wait to see you, Mina, about your Seattle Seahawks. In the end, all I'm saying is, all of this noise being made about this team that's going to contaminate our airwaves tonight on Monday Night Football, all of that stuff goes out the window, playmaker, because there's roadblocks all over the place, and I love it.
And I would expect you to take that morsel piece of joy out of this, that little thing. That little thing that you want to take. Let me tell you why. Okay. Because you're also dealing, and we shall discuss what your Steelers are going through. You don't want to bring that up. You don't want to bring that up. Something that puts you so deep down in a hole that you're looking for anything to climb back up. And you're trying to grab a hold to other people's misery and say, I'm coming out. But there's no other misery here, baby boy. I'm glad Aaron Rodgers played like he played. But you're going to see starting tonight where the Dallas Cowboys start putting things together. And we shall discuss about all of those things. So the greater they rise, the greater the Cowboys look when they knock them down. I have no problem with Aaron Rodgers. You're not saying Dak is not playing as great as any of those quarterbacks, are you?
No, I'm not.
Because Dak is playing as great as all those quarterbacks. All those quarterbacks you named, Dak Prescott playing as great as.
He didn't look that way last week, but that's all right. I got you.
Oh, come on, man. Come on.
Okay, so we got 3 statements from this one. Aaron shut everyone up about the offseason. Green Bay should be ashamed of themselves for how they treated him.
Yes.
And that the Cowboys have another roadblock now, and they won't go anywhere because they're not going to get past Green Bay.
None of the teams.
So those are the statements. Let's move on, guys, to some other NFC teams. The game of the week was in SoFi Stadium. The LA Rams had a 14-7 lead against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers earlier in the third quarter when they faced 3rd and 10 at the LA 25. Sean McVay with the perfect play, a pass to Deshaun Jackson, a pivotal moment in the Rams' 34-24 victory over the defending Super Bowl champions. Matthew Stafford, just special. Listen to these numbers, 343 yards and 4 TDs. The Rams beat the Bucs Week 11 last season, and again Sunday. Here's Tom Brady on his first loss of the season.
We got off to a slow start, so I think anytime you do that, you're fighting behind all day, and I think we played a good team that didn't turn the ball over. They played well offensively, and we just, we didn't make enough plays on offense early to kind of take control of anything. So just not a great complimentary game by us.
Michael, the Rams look really good.
Yeah.
They look really good on both sides of the ball. Matthew Stafford, better than I even expected. Incredible. Do you think the Rams should be the favorites now in the NFC?
I like what I saw out of the Rams. I mean, on both sides, and they played together as that unit that I was just describing, looking for something to go after, looking for that ring. But to make them right now the favorite after playing in that one regular season game, it blows my mind. Because I remember playing in beating a Buffalo Bills team in the Super Bowl. And then we coming back and we played them in a regular season game. And they were like, oh, this is the revenge. I said, no, it's not. This is a regular season game. When you get towards the playoffs and stuff excuse me, God bless you. When you get towards the playoffs where things count, stakes rise. It's win or go home. Okay? Things get different. Things are different. And there's a reason Tom Brady is considered the GOAT. Because in those moments, where most people start shrinking, he grows. He grows. I always say pressure does one or two things. For the good, it makes them fold. But for the great, it makes them focus. And in that kind of pressure situation, Tom Brady focuses. And I'm not worried. I saw this same mess and this same rhetoric get spewed out of mouths all across this country last year when Drew Brees and the Saints took down the GOAT in the regular season. They said, oh, you shall get this mic in a moment. You shall get it in a moment. That's what everybody said about the GOAT. And then when he came back and beat him the second time, everybody said, oh, Brees got the GOAT. Right. But when it came time and when it counted, when you were after that bling thing called a ring, Tom Brady focused because in pressure moments, that's what he does, and he wins games. You can't beat a champion in the regular season. Buffalo came in and beat us in the regular season. We turned around and won another Super Bowl. I'm just telling you, stakes are different later on. Congratulations. I ain't taking nothing away from what the Rams did yesterday. That was a great win. But don't start going crazy off of one win in the regular season.
Okay, so you're saying it's the Bucs, to be clear. The Bucs are still the favorite.
It's the Bucs. Who got Tom Brady on their team? Somebody else?
Okay, Stephen A.
Well, let me be very, very clear. We all know that I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers repeating. Okay. But the question is about favorites. And what I would tell you is that even though we believe it, that doesn't mean that somebody else can't be the favorite. And when you look at the Rams right now, and you look at what they've constructed, let me tell you something right now. Everybody talk about Matthew Stafford, who, by the way, started the game off shaky. There was several throws that he missed. Like, I think he went like one for his first 6. He missed Cooper Kupp. He missed Deshaun Jackson. He missed a couple. He missed Woods one time. He missed a couple of cats, okay? He just looked shaky, and the moment appeared to be a bit too big for him.
Early on.
And then he got
revisit this. We will revisit.
And then he got himself together. Right. Here's what I would tell you to look out for. The Los Angeles Rams beat the Buccaneers yesterday, so I think it's justified to make them a favorite in this regard. You got the Super Bowl at SoFi, right?
Yeah.
That's where they play every Sunday. That's where they play every week, right? On their home games is at SoFi. You got the Super Bowl there. You got the reigning defending Super Bowl champions that have to do what they need to do because in terms of the pressure that's coming their way, they got to be up every week. They clearly weren't up yesterday. They didn't have Jason Pierre-Paul, so, Stafford was able to step back there and take pictures before throwing a pass. There was no pressure on him. He only got sacked once. You also had a situation where you didn't have Antonio Brown on offense because he was in COVID protocols, so that's an elite weapon that Tom Brady didn't have available to him. I understand that. My flip side is, I'm watching how this offense clicked. I'm watching how suspect Tampa Bay's defense has been throughout this season. Now, Bunting is out, and I get all of that. But the bottom line is that they're suspect defensively. And the combination of them being suspect defensively, along with the Rams' ability to get to the quarterback, along with the fact that in Stafford, it's a significant upgrade from Jared Goff, okay? And on top of it all, you got the Super Bowl at SoFi, and the fact that they won this game in the playoffs will likely, not guaranteed, but likely mean you'd have to come back to SoFi to beat them. I don't think that you piggyback off of last year where you went on the road, okay, in Green Bay and won an NFC championship game, and you repeat that this year if you were able to go up against the Rams. I think that's a daunting task. I think it's justifiable for those who believe that the Rams are favorite right now based on what we see.
Just a couple things you said. Let me just pull out right there. You talked about the nervousness that struck Matthew Stafford in the genesis of that game. If the nervousness struck him in the genesis of that game, imagine ye what he's going to go through when he walks up in the playoff game looking at Tom Brady. I'm just dropping that because you said that. Just imagine that. The pressure, if he felt pressure where he was, 1 for 6 early on, if he felt that pressure, what do you think he's going to feel? Hence what I was talking about. You know, when you talk about being favored, yeah, we got to look at the results of what happened, but we also have to put our minds to it and be able to project on what will happen and bring those other circumstances around. Now, Tom Brady played against a great defense, but he still threw for 432 yards. In the way you so cavalierly just threw out a few things bothered me deeply. I mean, you talked about Antonio Brown not playing like it was just a big deal. Like it was just Antonio Brown. And I hear people talking about, well, you got Scott Miller. He could be Tony Brown. Stop it. Antonio Brown had 6 100-yard seasons in a row. And 100 catch seasons. Right. 100 catch seasons in a row. Excuse me. And then also, oh my God, I've never seen, this is one of the greatest games I've ever seen in my life when he returned for that playoff game against Jacksonville after being out for 3 weeks, the performance he put on. And what he gives this Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense that they missed yesterday is the big strike ability. In 07, when he had Randy Moss. Tom Brady right now had 9 touchdowns going into yesterday. That, in the first 2 games. Never before in history has he ever done that. Has he ever done that? And Antonio Brown now on that team makes a huge difference. A huge difference.
Just remember, the Rams defense got the best of Tom Brady last year, too. And that was with Jared Goff.
The
defense is not going to be intimidated,
right now, they're 25th against the pass. They got to do a better job defensively as well. They've dropped off a little bit. They got to get their act together. I just believe in Aaron Donald, and I believe in Jalen Ramsey. But let me say this, and I know that you change your voice and I'm just saying, like, you know,
it's a beautiful presentation.
You pass the playmaker now.
You pass the playmaker. Thank you for all that range. Inspiring, Stephen A.
Sprinkle this morsel in there. Well, it doesn't faith in me. The reality of the situation is this. Your points are valid, but so is anybody's who believes that the Rams are favorites right now, because what they're anticipating is that if Tampa Bay is going to take them out next time, it's going to have to be back at SoFi. Right. And so what I'm saying to you is this. We look at Matthew Stafford. Remember what the key thing is here with Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
Pay attention to this. Matthew Stafford has never won a playoff game. So when you talk about the moment, the real hump is getting over that playoff game. You get yourself a playoff victory. Obviously playing with a new team, buffered by that defense, buffered by Sean McVay's play calling. And by the way, let me take a moment. Let me bring up Deshaun Jackson, my brother. 34, turning 35 December 1st. Let me tell y'all something. Deshaun Jackson's issue is durability. He gets injured. Yeah. If Deshaun Jackson is healthy, I can make an argument that he is the greatest deep threat in the National Football League going on 35 years old. That's how lightning fast this brother is. He's a nightmare. And it opens stuff up for Higbee. It opens up stuff for Cup. It opens up stuff for Woods. And obviously, you, Matthew Stafford, you love throwing the deep ball. So we can sleep and act like this is the same Rams team all we want to. It ain't Jared Goff quarterbacking. And the Los Angeles Rams have never had a deep threat like Deshaun Jackson. Ever. Yeah. Ever. So let's be very, very clear about that. It's a new day. And we got to pay attention to that. Again, I got Tampa Bay repeating as champions. But I'm not sleeping on those who say the Rams are legitimate favorites, because I'm looking at what I'm looking at.
Right, and I don't mind everybody giving them credit, and they deserve that credit. I'm just saying, grab the ring and whoa, boy, when you start talking about putting them over the
You don't do that with the Cowboys. You don't do that with the Cowboys. Whoa. What have they done? What have they done? Whoa. They ain't done a damn thing, but you don't do that with the Cowboys.
What do you mean? We're about to discuss that. We are about to discuss that. Don't run them over. Don't run them over. I understand it's a tough day for you, buddy. It's a tough day. As soon as we get to them Steelers, we're going to talk about how tough of a day
Rams
it is.
3-0 against playoff teams. FBI giving them the best chance to win the NFC. I guess you could say Myles Garrett had a field day yesterday. A rough day for the rookie in his starting debut. Where do the Bears go from here? Dan Orlovsky joining us. He might have some things to say about Stafford as well. Justin Herbert and the Chargers get the best of Patrick Mahomes and the crew. Stephen, a shocking take on Herbert that will put the league on notice. Trust me and stay tuned.
So, listen, this is...
Wise man told me. No, Stephen, you were right. You were right. Props on that. Welcome to the NFL. It was rough for Justin Fields, who's got his first career start on Sunday in a 26-6 beatdown at the hands of the Cleveland Browns. He took more sacks than completions. Here's Matt Nagy.
I obviously, as a head coach, did not do a good enough job of getting this offense ready to go, to be able to play and win a football game. So it starts with me, it ends with me, and it's as simple as that. This is not how we wanted it to go. You almost can't even make it up. It's that bad. But we got to get to the film, and we got to make sure that we're hard on ourselves and we understand the whys, and really just go from there.
All right, our quarterback Dan Orlovsky here. Dan, thanks for moonlighting with us. Was it a mistake to start?
It is if you're going to run that trash game plan that he ran. It's the worst game plan that I've ever seen in my life. I think my stance after yesterday is he should no longer be allowed to be in the stewardship role with Justin Fields' career. You got to move on from Matt Nagy. It's the worst game plan I've ever seen in my life, and it was either intentional or negligence. Because there's no way. Yesterday was 149 days since the moment they drafted Justin Fields. He had 149 days to go, how do I start building this game plan for this specific skill set? Because I didn't do it with Mitchell Trubisky, and I'm going to do it with Justin Fields and things that they can do differently. They dropped back 20 times to throw the football, okay, against that Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney defensive line. 13 times they went with five-man protection, no help to the offensive line. 13 times out of 20, they went R5 against their 4 or 5. No help. That is incredibly ignorant to do. 3 times, they moved them. They didn't move them outside the pocket to the middle of the second quarter, and they did it again in the middle of the third quarter. They did 2 designed quarterback runs. They did 7-man protection 1 time. So if that was your plan, then I'm going to give it to Stephen A. That there should have been no business playing Justin Fields. But I thought after watching Matt Nagy and complaining about Matt Nagy for 2 years and how he handled Mitchell Trubisky and the flaws within that, I was like, there's no way that he is going to run out there with the same game plan. He called a game plan for me, for a quarterback like me, not for a dynamic athlete like Justin Fields. And it's either you're incapable of it, like you just can't do it. You don't have the skill or the talent or the creativity or the ingenuity to build the proper game plan, or you did it intentionally because you wanted him to fail. And this is not about did Justin Fields play good or bad.
Would you really think, do coaches really do things like
I don't
that?
think so.
Intentionally?
I don't think so, but then how can you not do it negligence-wise? How could you not?
I can answer that question. First of all, let's understand something here, okay? Coming into this week, there were 2 coaches that were considered on the hottest seats in the NFL. Mm-hmm. It was Zimmer in Minnesota, because you wondered whether or not that no one could question his coaching acumen. You just questioned whether or not he had the ear of the locker room, the ability to galvanize and motivate his players. And then Matt Nagy. It is now Matt Nagy, all by his damn self.
Right.
Period. The man, he didn't do anything intentional. It's in his best interest that Justin Fields, succeeds. Yeah, he's not the one that, moved up in the draft to bypass Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, but nevertheless, you had Mitchell Trubisky, and you've been on the job for 4 years, and I'm just looking at the numbers here. Offensively, right, when you look at Matt Nagy in his coaching career, offensively in points, This is the former offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 3 years that he's coached the Chicago Bears, the last 2 seasons and this season, they ranked 29th in points, 22nd in points, and now they rank second to last. In yards, it's 29, 26, and dead last. This is a former offensive coordinator that doesn't seem to know what the hell he's doing offensively. And I told y'all about Justin Fields. I said, listen, Myles Garrett is a monster. This brother is elite. Right. He's special, okay? 4.5 sacks yesterday. Jadeveon Clowney is no scrub. He had 2 sacks yesterday.
They one blocked him 13 times.
I understand that.
Yep.
I understand it. But what I'm saying to you is that you don't do it against them because you know those brothers can ball. You throw Fields out there 6 for 20, 6 for 20. I mean, it was so bad. It was so embarrassing. And here's the thing. This is the beauty of it all. This is the only plus that you take out of this. We all looked at Fields and went like this. This ain't his fault. We all looked at him and said,
Michael,
this
I think you know quarterbacks pretty well. Was this a mistake? Yeah.
We watched Matt Nagy for a few years with Trubisky before we had this discussion about should Justin Fields start. So I have to ponder and wonder what made us, or made y'all, I should say, or made you all believe that now Matt Nagy can put something together for Justin Fields. When I was saying, do not start this kid right now, you got to be careful at the quarterback position, especially with these kinds of expectations upon this young man right here. Drafted, as high as he got drafted. Everybody in Chicago been looking for a quarterback since ever. Since ever. Forever they've been looking for a quarterback. So their thirst is strong. And we sat here and we talked about his gift of running outside the pocket and making plays, and we bullied Matt Nagy. Bullied him into putting the kid on the football field. You bullied him. There was everybody talked about it.
But Michael, there's an injury. Andy Dalton.
No doubt. No, go to Foles. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Go to Foles. Because right now, everybody still believes, the Chicago Bears and all the fan base still believe that they got a shot. They want a shot. So now they put the kid out there to help them get to, you can do some things with his legs. We can play great defense. Maybe we get in the playoffs. Let me tell you the truth. You don't have a shot. You don't have a shot. We were selling a dream in that sense. So since you didn't have a shot, go ahead and go to Foles, let it completely fall, and then bring the kid in. And everything he does, he's seen as a hero, not the GOAT that lost the season that should have never been put on him. So yes, that coach is at fault. And yes, Dan, everything you said about the game plan, it was a horrible game plan. But the facts are, he was horrible, or he had problems going into it. You should have put that into your equation when we asked the question in the beginning. Should he be started? And you should have sided with me and said no.
Let me ask you this. Are you telling me that they should not have played Justin Fields because you knew Matt Nagy was not going to be able to build the game plan around him? Is that what we're saying?
I'm telling you that I had no illusions or no delusions that Matt Nagy would build something that would help Justin Fields. Absolutely.
So if he can't do it now, why do we think he could do it in the future? If he can't build a game plan in 150 days from drafting him, then move on.
No one said we believe that either. No one said we believe that either.
Hold on, playmaker. Don't be slick, Dan or Lobster.
Right, nobody said we could do that.
Stay with me. We understand.
I'm not being slick, I'm being honest.
I'm getting ready to tell you. I'm getting ready to tell you how you being slick. I'm getting ready to tell you how you being slick, Dan or Lobster.
Dan's trying to move
I got him. He's trying to move it. Here's what you said. Matt Nagy, are you saying we have no confidence in him in the future? Yeah, that's what we saying.
Then why you get the job?
Okay, then, but we
have no confidence in the
we're trying to say is we didn't have that confidence coming into the damn game. We told you that. Which is why we said Nick Foles should have been in the damn lineup. That's what we're saying. Don't try to move it now.
Hold on. I feel like this is two separate conversations. There's a conversation about starting rookie quarterbacks, and there's a conversation about Matt Nagy. And these rookie starting quarterbacks, someone sat on this desk and said, I think this could be the greatest quarterback class of all time. And now, I don't remember. Now they're 1 in 10, Dan. Yeah. And Mac Jones is the only quarterback with a win, and it's against another rookie. So what does that say about starting these rookie quarterbacks? We're saying that's what should be done now, rather than in the past. They sat back for 3 years.
It's hard. It's hard to go play the quarterback position at a high level. Now, Trevor Lawrence Zach Wilson, both of those guys were taken by really bad football teams.
Right.
So they're not going to. I've said this before. Name me the last top 5 quarterback, draft slot wise, that flipped a bad organization. It just doesn't happen. Cam did it for like a little bit in Carolina. It just takes time. Trey hasn't played. Mac is surrounded by a good team, and now Justin went out and played with a terrible plan. So you still play them. They still got it. Like here's my thing, because Michael made the point of putting the pressure on Justin and whatnot. I've got kids. I've got kids. Like when my son plays baseball, he only plays third base. Why? Because he's not good enough at first base. I'm not going to ask him to go play first base right now because he can't catch the ball.
Okay, hold on.
So like that's not. I don't think it's that hard.
Hold on.
I subscribe to the Bill Walsh building of a quarterback. I watched him build Joe Montana, and I remember some of the things he said early on. He said, "I want to make sure he has early success." He says, I put him in game so he can have some early success. He says, so I know, and I ascertained by what he was saying, that he said, so I know when the tough times come, he has some equity in the bank, so when the struggles hit him mentally, he will not have an insufficient withdrawal. That is what I'm talking about in building a quarterback. What's wrong with building? Not just because you see he has a physical skill set, but I understand he also has a mentality that you have to work on, and that's what I wanted him to do. Hey, what do you think Kyle Shanahan is trying to do in San Francisco with Trey Lance? That's what he's trying to do. He's stealing from that book of Bill Walsh, and that's what they should be doing with this young man, because he has certain talents that you can interject into a game that's different than other quarterbacks.
Stop. You're wasting time.
I'm not wasting time.
I'm getting ready to explain it.
I thought it was great.
You can't mention Bill Walsh and Matt Nagy in this.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Matt Nagy's never getting there. This is a race. That's number one. Number two, don't be throwing your son under the bus on this show. He's a third baseman and a first baseman.
He's a good coach.
Dennis, he's both.
He's a coach. I'm building equity and success.
You didn't know this. You didn't know this. Stevie ain't little kids. He sure does.
Yeah.
Now that's the bottom line. And last but not least, let me say this. In the end, Matt Nagy doesn't belong there. We understand that.
Sure.
We recognize that. My point is, it's easier for him to coach somebody like a Nick Foles. Do you have any idea how bad it looked for Nick Foles to be standing on the sideline?
Saying this offense doesn't work.
Saying this offense doesn't work.
Man.
I mean, damn.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
So what happened? Here's my question then. What's next if you're the Chicago Bears?
No.
Like do we keep Matt Nagy there and we sit Justin Fields on the bench?
None of you are saying to keep Matt Nagy, right?
So what's going to be done eventually should be done now. If we're going to fire him in 4 months, fire him today.
And if the year's already long.
I'm worried about what they do next. The last 3 guys that played in a start like that, and the first start got sacked more than him, was McElroy, a David Norrie, and a David Klingler. After a game, they were 4-23. So obviously, they never recovered mentally. So I'm worried about how do you move forward.
Y'all know what this could potentially mean, right? You know what this could potentially mean? They lose to Detroit next week, the winless Detroit Lions.
Listen, I feel bad.
It could be over for Matt Nagy.
I just got to say one thing about Detroit, and I know you have love for Detroit, but they really have played tough this season.
Yeah,
There's been heartbreakers.
They got jobbed over by the officials yesterday.
Yeah, but even they played tough against Green Bay, too. Everyone clowned me when I said that.
I appreciate that, and normally I would sit up there and look at you, Molly, and say, okay, dear Abby, I get where you're coming from. But that title doesn't belong to you this morning. It belongs to that man. Did you hear the drivel that he was spewing on Get Up this morning? I mean, Dan talking about Dak Prescott. I mean, he's a good man, and he's just he's a leader.
Yeah. Here's the difference between you and me.
He was saying all of this other stuff.
There's a difference between me and you.
He was saying all of this stuff about Dak Prescott's personality. Whoever attacked his personality, what that got to do with anything?
I didn't say anyone attacked his. The difference between you and I is I'm okay being wrong because I strain to be right. And you can't admit when you're wrong.
Me?
And you try. You won't admit when you're wrong. And so me with Dak Prescott, I can admit, you know what? He is a dude. He is an absolute baller. And I said I undervalued the character.
Dan, very big of you. I also was. And I took that very differently than CNN did.
He sounded like Dear Abby.
I said, you know what? I'm glad to have that kind of guy as a teammate. That's a leader.
I said, look at his emotional self.
Oh, my goodness.
Stephen A. pointing the finger at everyone else.
Listen, you were right about Fields. We'll give you that one. Sacked 9 times.
You were right about Matt Nagy.
16.
Edwards in there. Fumbles the ball. Mahomes fires it late and the pass behind. It'll be intercepted.
Another example of Patrick Mahomes trying to push the envelope just a bit.
Looks real dim right now. You can find a way to get better from this and find a way to win these games at the end of the games. We'll be where we want to at the end of the season.
Just like we all predicted it, the Kansas City Chiefs are the bottom of the AFC West. Talk about parity in the NFL. Kansas City falling to the Ravens, then division foe Chargers in the same week. Mahomes has to be more careful with the football. 5 interceptions in 2 weeks.
Everybody's not happy with how we played. It's when you take a loss to a division opponent at home, it's not usually a good thing. We haven't done a lot of that in my time here. So it's just how you respond. I mean, we got a long season ahead of us.
All right, RC is here. This fit, Ryan.
Last week I was dressed down a little bit.
This fit is everything.
It looks good.
I'm here for
Now,
it.
they all know, especially when they come here Monday, that I'm in
Mike,
this chair too now.
Yes.
Let's just stop playing. Stop playing.
He was thinking about you when he got drafted.
I wasn't going to bring it up. I wasn't going to bring it up because the suit is smooth. I'll give it to you. And you stepping out there, that looks good too. I wasn't going to say this. But, just because you keep in the prime real estate up there don't mean you got to be competing with Dan to look like Elvis, like the black Elvis or something. You could trim it a little bit. Got a little slope on the top and all that. You could trim the damn thing.
We got a little baby ramp.
I'm just saying. Baby ramp.
We got a little baby ramp.
You could trim it. I mean, you ain't got to cut it, but you can trim it. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Stop hating just because you don't hate.
Come on, hit the best. Body be mine. I'm the people the best all the time. You can trim it, brother. You can trim it. There's no crime against that. All right. Let's go.
All right.
They can't touch
Was this more about the Chargers or the Chiefs?
This is about the Chargers. This is about the Chargers understanding that they have a guy in Justin Herbert who they feel is as good as Patrick Mahomes. You got to remember, when Justin Herbert got his first start, Tyrod Taylor, obviously you had the medical issues. Patrick Mahomes is standing on the other side. And Justin Herbert goes play for play, toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes in week 1, in his first ever start. And so now we see him play throughout the season. And coming into this game, everyone knew that this game would be tough. Everybody thought that these two teams would be vying for the lead of the AFC West. Obviously, now the Raiders are a part of that as well. Yeah. Down the stretch, we watched Justin Herbert make the plays that Patrick Mahomes couldn't. We watched Justin Herbert be smart with the football when Patrick Mahomes didn't. And if you look at the last touchdown to Mike Williams, it was actually a called run. The play before, they throw the back shoulder fade against Mike Hughes. Mike Williams catches it. Right here, Justin Herbert makes his own play, his own check, and gives Mike Williams the opportunity to get the touchdown. That's what leaders do. That's what happens when you have an alpha male at the quarterback position. And now Brandon Staley, much like John Harbaugh the week before, understands that if you're playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, you gotta go for it, right? You gotta have guts, intestinal fortitude. They go for 3 fourth down conversions. Yeah. Right? They go for it on 4th and 8. This team was prepared to play. This team was prepared to play. They were not scared of the opposing team, the Kansas City Chiefs, and they showed it.
I respectfully disagree with you, but I will open up by confessing you were right. I was wrong because I didn't think the Los Angeles Chargers had any snowball's chance of hell of winning this game. I felt that Kansas City had lost last week, and I said 2 weeks in a row they're going to lose with Patrick Mahomes. You're on your home turf in Kansas City, and you're going to let these brothers come from Southern California to KC and beat you in a 1 o'clock game? I didn't see it. I honestly didn't see it. Props to the Chargers. I underestimated them. And Justin Herbert, this is the problem. And I just want to say this as an aside, fellas, right in front of y'all, because I got so much respect, and I defer to y'all football knowledge. Here's what's bothering me. I'm unapologetically black. And what I mean by that is I'm going to support the brothers. Okay, when we talk about a Brian Flores, when we talk about a GM Chris Graham Miami, you passed on Justin Herbert to draft Tua Tagovailoa. And every time I see Herbert, as much as I'm proud of him and I know the brother could ball, he can go. I go like this, damn, they passed on him to grab Tua. And everybody, most people would have made that pick because coming out of Alabama,
that's what I was about to say. At the time, that was the correct.
They started talking that they wanted Herbert, but they talked about the owner wanted.
The only reason I say that to you guys is because it's one thing if Herbert wasn't a part of the conversation, but he was. And because he was, and it was considered up for grabs and what have you, You know that kind of stuff gets held against them down the line. That's all I mean by that. And I'm praying that ain't the case. I just wanted to throw that out there. Let me say this real quick about about the Kansas City Chiefs, because my answer to the question of it being more about the Chargers or the Chiefs, it's the Chiefs for me, Ryan. Playmaker. Here's why. Chiefs got second worst defense in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Right? Which we knew, though.
No. I'm saying we didn't know they were going to be that bad. We knew they were going to be bad. We didn't know they were going to be that bad. Do you have any idea? They've got 4 sacks in 3 games. 4. That's it. They're not getting to the passer. They're second to last against the run.
Yeah.
They're second to last in points allowed. Yeah. And they're 30th out of 32 teams in the league in yards allowed.
Are they bad?
So in other words, when I look at the Chargers, even though I give you props for a 4th and 9, and even though I give you props for going to the touchdown instead of taking it down and ultimately kicking the field goal to be safe and all of this other stuff, what I'm looking at is a team in the Chiefs right now. You might fear Patrick Mahomes, but you don't fear that defense. You actually believe you got a chance because you can put up points on them.
What is different about that than the last 3 years, though?
No, I'm just saying. But 31st? Yeah. I get what you're saying, but with the Honey Badger belt, those boys, and Snead, don't get me started with Snead. He's a problem right now.
Yeah.
But I'm
so
just
I have a question, Stephen A. This is an honest question. If you're the GM of any other team and they tell you you can pick anyone from the Kansas City Chiefs defense to bring to your defense, who do you take?
Honey Badger.
That's it. That's it. They moved Chris Jones outside. He's no longer effective.
Yeah. Now listen, because it's more about the Chargers.
Right.
It's more about the Chargers. But boy, that Chief defense too. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now let me go Chargers first, because Justin Herbert is what he is. And I said, boy, he's going to take a dip with this new offense. But he hadn't taken a dip with this new offense. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, he's reached down inside Mike Williams' kid and pulled out his king. And you want a quarterback, or you want a leader, you want somebody that can reach down inside each kid and pull out their king. And that's what he has done for Mike Williams. You want to talk about the difference for the Chargers? He lies right there in 8-1, because they had to have that big playability to keep up with the Chiefs. They had to have it.
They have it.
And we've been waiting on Mike Williams to deliver it like this since he got drafted. Mm-hmm. And he is delivering it right now. He leads the team with 22 receptions. He almost has 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. That play right there. We need to win a game. Personally, let me just say this. Personally. That wouldn't fly by with me. If I'm Keenan Allen, you tell what right there?
Ain't about winning playmaker?
But that's okay.
So Alvin Harper can't get no
Yeah. The ones I give him. That right there against the Chiefs, the team we need to beat. Just like Aaron Rodgers. Oh, I'm not giving you this one. I'm sorry. I'm going to take this one right there. But that being said, I like that they got it done. And when you see that combination of those two, now, Keenan Allen's one of the baddest men in this league.
That's right.
Mike Williams is and then you see the combination of what they are right now. They're trying to throw that name in the hat like, hey, we got the baddest group in the league too now. We got
last
a group
word
over
here,
here.
right?
So, but think about this. You just mentioned Keenan Allen. You mentioned Mike Williams, right? On 4th and 9, Justin Herbert goes to Jalen Guyton. Yeah. Because they were double covering Keenan Allen, because it was the right play. And so yesterday we saw a quarterback who is equally as talented as Patrick Mahomes, who decided to make the right play. And that's why the Los Angeles Chargers
The problem is, too, with Patrick Mahomes, and this is what got to my nerves, when everybody tried to say, he's the next Tom Brady. Last year, that's the Super Bowl cry. He could be the next Tom Brady. I said, stop that. Stop laying that upon that man. Because then no matter how great that man is, if he don't win 7 Super Bowls, we're going to say he fell short. And right now, we're ready to start spewing this mess about that because he's 1-2. Let me tell you, when they won the Super Bowl, he was putting up 29 points a game. The defense played well enough, they won the Super Bowl. Last year, he put up 28 points the first year, the Super Bowl. 29 last year, they got the Super Bowl. 32
We're
going to
revisit that greatest conversation, because Aaron Rodgers reminded folks, too, that he's a part of that conversation. So we are going to get to that later.
Is bad.
By the way, guys, Chiefs, 11 of 14 games decided by 1 score. Matthew Stafford slinging it yesterday, carving up the vaunted Buccaneers defense. One of our guys is ready to make a bold take on L.A. on Eli Manning jersey retirement day. My G-men. fell flat. And the Jets got goose-egged by the Broncos. A debate about the awful state of New York teams. Keep it it's bad.
I like y'all saying the Chargers are good. Does that mean the Cowboys?
To the guy to my right tortured you for years. But today, you get to enjoy Stephen A. officially bearing his Pittsburgh Steelers. He's finally waving the white flag. Now I'm getting Ryan Clark side-eyeing me. Or should I say the terrible towel. That is in just a bit. Don't miss it. The game of the week was in SoFi Stadium. The LA Rams had a 14-7 lead against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers earlier in the third quarter when they faced 3rd and 10 at the LA 25. Sean McVay with a perfect play. A pass to Deshaun Jackson. That would be a pivotal moment in the Rams' 34-24 victory over the defending Super Bowl champions. Matthew Stafford just special. Listen to these numbers. 343 yards and 4 TDs. Ryan Clark is still here. RC. Are the Rams now the NFC favorites?
Oh, the Rams are the NFL favorite. The Rams are the best team in the entire league. And what Sean McVay knew was they had everything they needed, every piece they needed but a quarterback. And that's why you give up the former #1 overall pick. That's why you give up additional first-round draft picks, because you wanted to stand on your sideline and look at your guy and say, you know what, no matter who we're playing, number 9 is as good as the other dude on the other side of the field or better. And yesterday he was better than Tom Brady. And they talked about the excitement that Sean McVay had at the end of the first half. Now, part of it was the fact that he's like 39-0 when leading at halftime. But the other part was that he understood, I got my guy. That exactly what I thought Matthew Stafford was going to bring to our team, he has. He can do everything from a mental standpoint, from an understanding standpoint, from an experience standpoint, but also make the plays that I can't coach him into. And schematically, the Los Angeles Rams are back to being what had us calling Sean McVay the Wonder Kid. What had us saying that Sean McVay was not only a prodigy, but a genius. Man. And seeing that on display yesterday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was amazing, knowing that Tom Brady, the GOAT, was on the other sideline.
I don't have an issue with that based on what we saw yesterday. I only have 2 points to add, and then I'll hand it to the playmaker. Number 1, there was no Antonio Brown. There was no Jason Pierre-Paul. So it's Matthew Stafford being able to sit back and take pictures and call his wife and all of this other stuff before he throws a damn pass is something to take into consideration, because no pressure was applied to really make him inconvenienced in any way. And so we didn't see a true litmus test of what might transpire. The other thing that and not other than that, we know Antonio Brown and what that brother brings to the table, for sure, and how he elevates things for Scott Miller along with Evans, along with Godwin and Gronk and others. Right. And Gronk dropped the pass yesterday. He shouldn't have dropped either. That's number 1. Number 2, there is something called the NFC West. And even if you win, they can beat you up. They can expose you. You understand what I'm saying? They can soften you up.
Right.
And so when we've got Seattle and we've got San Fran, who played a hell of a game last night, even though they lost to Green Bay.
Now.
And we got the Cardinals now as well. I would say to you, well, okay, fine, but let's understand they can still be had.
Stephen A., just to the defensive point, I understand what you're saying about Matthew Stafford taking pictures. You know who else took pictures? Dak for 400+. You know who else took pictures? Matt Ryan for 300+. So this isn't
every quarterback this season.
Right. What people have to realize is
every quarterback
this team ended up winning the Super Bowl last year because of defense. This defense isn't hunting the same right now. And
but I'm not talking about the Rams and let's hold our horses there to some degree just because of Tampa Bay. I'm saying because of the NFC. I brought up the NFC West for a reason.
Right.
And they're not matching the hunger of the guys that they're playing against. That same hunger that you saw in that Tampa Bay defense in the Super Bowl, you don't see. Yeah, we got like the same guys. Yeah. But in this business, we go hand-to-hand, man-to-man, come back. Your skill set is one thing, but your hunger has to be there too. Because those guys, they're measuring. You walked in the SoFi, they were ready to see if they were a championship team by you. I know. I've gone through that repeat process. I'd watch guys on film and say, oh, I'm about to kill this joker, and get in the game and say, who is this joker in this jersey? Because that ain't the dude I saw on film, but he was playing for a measuring stick. They're not answering that bell.
And the thing is,
but I'm still leaving them. I'm still leaving them as the favorite right now to win the NFC because I know when the time comes, they will raise that stake. They're trying to get through the playoffs. That's what teams do.
But
get through the regular season until they get to the playoffs.
You also have to remember, the only person on this team or the guy on this team that's been through that multiple times is Tom Brady.
Right.
The rest of this team hasn't. The rest of this team can't just sit around and say we can turn it on whenever we want to in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have to understand that they will be the litmus test for all
Let's look
contenders.
for it, right? See, now you're saying they don't need to turn it on. They've scored 30-plus points in 9 consecutive games, so they've been turning it on. They just got trapped.
That's the
by
side
the
of
team.
that's the side of the
yesterday.
ball that Tom Brady plays on. I understand that Tom Brady is going to execute, but they didn't win the Super Bowl because of Tom Brady. Tom Brady wasn't great down the stretch.
No doubt.
It was
And they
this
got time.
defense stepping up and playing. This defense has to get back to doing that.
Who do you trust more to get back to the Super Bowl with the Chiefs and Bucks both losing?
Tampa Bay, because they got Tom Brady. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, and he can dictate, he can dictate the pace of the offense. See, Patrick Mahomes swings. He's a home run hitter.
Yeah.
They can score in bunches and what have you, but Tom Brady will dictate pace. He'll move the chains. He'll methodically go about the business of saving his defense from being overexposed.
And that's why Antonio Brown was so big. We forget about what he's done.
No, he's huge.
But what he does here. And I always tell people, I said, man, when I watched him in 07 and watched Randy Moss go down the field, Tom Brady had a chance to go through his read. 1 read, 2 read. Oh, his hands up. So he can play meticulously down the field, matriculate the ball, but he always had that home run shot. And Antonio Brown, I watch, he's doing his own thing over there sometimes. and he just does, and then he goes and it's dangerous. He did it to Anthony Brown a couple times in that Cowboys game. That's a dangerous thing.
And you also got to realize when you have him, you have 4 number 1 receivers if you count
Where
Rob
was Ramsey going then?
And that's the other thing. Who plays who at that point?
Right, and that
You know what's going to be fun? Even though Irvin still had 100 yards. Sunday.
What'd you say?
This is awkward silence. I'm not teeing you up, so you could just go.
Steelers are awful. They're awful. The defense, I'm not going to blame them because T.J. Watt is out. Highsmith was out. I don't know why everybody got a groin injury, but that's a subject for another day. But their offense is awful.
It's the music.
No, it's the groin injury.
I actually asked for this music, Ryan. I have never seen the Steelers' offense look this bad. Ben Roethlisberger threw 13 passes behind the line of scrimmage. You told me that during the break. I didn't know it was that many. He threw 13 passes behind the line of scrimmage. With Chase Claypool, with Juju Smith-Schuster, with Ebron, with Deontay Johnson and James Washington. The leading receiver was Najee Harris. And the reason why he's catching the ball is because you can't run block for him. Ben Roethlisberger struggles to throw the football 20-plus yards. And Juju Smith-Schuster, since Antonio Brown departed from Pittsburgh, has become more popular for his TikToks before the game than what he actually does during the game. 3 receptions for 25 yards, even though he went down when he was a little injured. I have been a Pittsburgh Steelers fan for as long as I have been a General Hospital fan.
That's
I have been a Pittsburgh Steelers fan for as long as I have been a General Hospital fan, which spans 40-plus years. 4 decades. And I have never, ever, with Neil O'Donnell, with Mark Malone, you understand what I'm saying? And the list goes on. I mean, Cordell Stewart. I have never seen the Steelers offense.
Bubby Bristol?
Look, Bubby Bristol, too. I have never seen the Steelers offense look this bad. I predicted they would win the AFC North.
That wasn't smart.
It was not smart, no. It was dumb.
It was dumb.
It was emotional.
Okay.
It was erratic. Damn it, it was irresponsible. It was irresponsible.
Journalistically.
And I just want to say to America, right here, right now, I have never been this sad. I've never been this sad.
Bro, I'm really
watching the Steelers offense. Ever! Ever!
So
this is worse. This is worse. This is worse than when I thought that one of the stars died on General Hospital.
Would you bench Ben Roethlisberger then? Is it time?
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if they get Cam. It doesn't matter if they put in Dwayne Haskins.
Right.
Damn it, it don't even matter if Mason Rudolph is the quarterback. They are so bad offensively because they can't run block, they can't pass protect. They're so bad.
Right.
That I'm sitting here before y'all knowing I'm being laughed at. I don't blame y'all. I'm that sad.
Okay, it was irresponsible.
And I have nothing else to say.
You said, you said a lot. Playmaker, would you bench Ben?
I would have liked to have heard, I was wrong somewhere in there.
I did. I did say
that. I prefer irresponsible.
You were hurt.
I
think that's better.
Yeah.
You were hurt. You were hurt. You were hurt. You say you were hurt. I want you to know you're wrong and you were wrong.
But let me tell you. You
think
he hurt? You should feel I hurt Ben after yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. Let me tell you. When we talked about this at the beginning, will they make the playoffs? Is Mike Tomlin headed towards his first losing season? We talked about this. Now, listen, Ben deserves everything Ben gets because Ben has earned the right to even finish this fight with what he's given Pittsburgh. But this is an ugly finish. An ugly finish. And I'm telling you, you bench him. I don't know. You don't have anything there. Going to Haskins, Rudolph. Where are you going? What I would do if I'm Pittsburgh is understand you're going nowhere. Start playing all the young guys you have on your roster.
So you're asking the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I ain't saying that because I don't know nothing about who's coming out of college soon. Nothing. I ain't talking about none of that. But just start playing all the young guys on your roster.
Playmaker. So I'm going to ask you this. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who are obviously a better organization than the Dallas Cowboys, you're asking them to go out and play not to win? You're asking this team to not try to succeed?
You think
you're
that'll
asking
be
this
worse?
team? You're asking this team to be what y'all have been in Dallas for the last quarter century?
Wait. Every time we try to move the thing to something else, every time I think I'm out, y'all drag Dallas back in. No. This is about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now, right here, in the Pittsburgh Steelers. You saying, should they go out and tank or throw the games away? They look like they throwing the games away to me.
Here's what I'm saying.
That's what they're doing right now.
I said the hardest thing I ever had to say about the Pittsburgh Steelers this morning. And y'all know I try to take my bias out for what I feel for Coach Tomlin, what I feel for GM Kevin Colbert. This is an organizational failure.
Yes.
Right? When you think about stability in an organization, you got
to call out Colbert.
Exactly.
You got to call him out.
You go from Chuck Noll to Bill Cowher to obviously going to Mike Tomlin. It's been the picture of stability.
So you're saying they should have gotten rid of Ben already?
I'm saying they don't have a succession plan.
They don't.
So when Minkah Fitzpatrick was picked up, I was vehemently against them giving up the 11th pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick. I said, you know what? You keep this first-round pick. You start moving toward having a succession plan in place for Big Ben Roethlisberger. Steeler fans killed me because he's been a Pro Bowler the last 2 years, and he's done all these things. But now you're in a position where you don't get to move on. In the offseason, when Ben Roethlisberger said he wanted one more year, you had to give him that year because you had no plan. Right? Even if you're picking up Dwayne Haskins or you have Mason Rudolph on the roster, none of those players are ready to play right now and help you win. And if you play them, you can't protect them.
Yeah.
You have 4 new starting offensive linemen and none of these guys have played together. And you go out and get Najee Harris, and I think he's going to be a good back. But there's nowhere for him to run, so now he becomes your receiver. And he's nothing but an outlet for Ben Roethlisberger because he can't be protected to push the ball down the field. It's sad to watch.
22 QB hits inside the pocket.
Ben's fighting.
It's incredibly scared. It's incredibly sad to watch. And again, the only thing I have to say about Ben Roethlisberger that's incredibly negative is that elbow and what have you. Sometimes I got nervous when he was rubbing it yesterday or what have you. Sometimes it seems to be a struggle for him to throw the ball past 20 yards. But having said that, we all know that Mike Tomlin has never coached a team under 500. This is what I would say about Kevin Colbert. Obviously, I respect him. You've been there since 2000. You've been the general manager since 2000. You've been the VP and the general manager since 2016. How in God's name is the only real option you've had as a backup quarterback is Mason Rudolph? How is that possible? How is that
No,
possible?
I'm be honest. Here's what I think happened.
Ben,
I think they
Ben.
were trying to maximize a championship window and never planned for it to
Right,
close.
and win with the defense and tell Ben not to make the mistakes. They didn't expect this kind of decline and certainly expect to have some kind of running game by now. And they thought they could squeeze
You
one
got to
last
block to have a
time
running game.
with
Got
Big
to.
Ben. Yes. and
Najee
they don't
Harris
have
is
that.
the
And they
answer.
don't- and they
You
don't
just
have
got to
that.
block
Yes,
for him.
no doubt.
I got no
No
issues
doubt.
with Najee
good
Harris.
No
Zero.
doubt. No doubt. But when you're averaging 53 yards per game, then that puts a lot of pressure back on Ben. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And he can't get that done.
They've
And
been
it
on
looks
Ben a
bad.
little too
Stephen
long.
A., you all right, man?
With the elbow problem, they had Big Ben Roethlisberger throw the football 58 times just there.
Yeah.
58.
Yeah, 36 QBR,
Ain't got no
28th
choice,
in the
Coach.
league.
Ain't got no choice.
All right. Speaking of misery, let's talk about the state of New York. Bottom of the division, 0-3. Is it
don't
worse
know how.
for the Giants or the Jets? We get into that next. Hey, at least the Yankees won. Stay here first.
I'll be there. You better believe it. I shall
Interesting.
be right there.
All right, now to the New York teams.
Jimmy.
Both are 0-3. Jets are struggling with their new rookie quarterback as they are the only team scoring under 10 points per game. The Giants have been okay, but have not been able to close, losing 2 games at the buzzer. Stephen A., do you have anything to say about these New York teams?
They're a catastrophe. And I want to apologize because I got my boy Jeff Brown, who Molly knows very, very well,
Yeah.
lives out in California.
What's up, Jeff?
Native New Yorker. Got my 2 godchildren, Nicholas and Nicole. Hey, y'all. And here's the problem. He's got them as Jets and Mets fans. And I always say to him, why would you do that to them? Why would you do that to my godchildren? Why would you expose them to this level of futility and incompetence? It makes no sense whatsoever. And now we're seeing the latest evidence as to why that is. The New York Jets haven't been to the playoffs since they went to an AFC championship game in 2010 when Rex Ryan was coaching them, okay? They haven't been to the playoffs ever since, okay? They had 1 winning record in all of those years in the past decade when Todd Bowles was coaching them. That is it. They are horrible. And right now, you got a cat in Denzel Mims that's playing behind everybody. He's only played 1 game, and you got a lot of people wondering as to whether or not he should be playing. Your leading receiver is some dude named Baxton Berrios, or whatever the hell his name is. You got Corey Davis there as well, who's got a reputation and a resume. And I'm not saying they're scrubs, but something is clearly missing. And when we look at rookie quarterbacks, we know Justin Fields had Matt Nagy, all right? And that's problematic. We see Mac Jones, we ain't worried about him because he's with Belichick and Josh McDaniel. We know that Trey Lance is coming, but Jimmy Garoppolo is playing well right now. Plus, you got Kyle Shanahan there. You look at Trevor Lawrence, you see nuggets of greatness, even though he's made some mistakes, not good throwing a pick 6 and all of that other stuff. The one rookie quarterback we're looking at, and we're like, damn, there's nothing that looks good about him is Zach Wilson. And it's really not his fault because it's about culture. And you got a defensive guy in Robert Salah who I'm trying to have some faith in and what have you, but I see no evidence that you know what's going on offensively. And who's your offensive coordinator? We got Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. We got Mike LaFleur in New York with the New York Jets. I don't know. Maybe that's got something to do with it. You see, like without Aaron Rodgers, we'll see what Matt LaFleur will do down the line. In the case of the New York Giants, you got Joe Judge, who I like. And I saw the Giants improving last year as each game progressed. This year, you come into the season, we got to look at Dave Gettleman because we're looking at the pieces around. Daniel Jones, we want to sit up there and crucify him. He hasn't been playing that bad over the last couple of weeks. He's been flinging the football. We know Galladay can ball. We know what Saquon Barkley can do. But somehow, some way, the New York Giants, who've only had 1 playoff appearance since 2011 or whatever, you got a situation right now where it's Gotham, it's the Mecca, it's New York City, even though they're playing across the swamp in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and somehow, some way, you can't win damn football games. It's a disgrace. It's embarrassing. Look, I know First Take's number 1 in the morning. You know, we do what we do. But the reality of the situation is, you know, it's a damn shame when the show First Take is more entertaining to watch than the Giants and the Jets football team. And that's where we are. And it's a damn shame.
And the Jets, let me tell you something, man, how hard it is to turn around a losing organization like that. Whenever things start going poorly, the mindset gets to, here we go again. To root that out is so difficult. It's so difficult. And you got to make the right moves. You got to get the right players that it means so much. Winning means so much to them that every time they lose a game, they go back to the facility and work out some more. Oh, yeah, they had some of those players like Jamal, but they let them go. They kicked them out, as a matter of fact. So don't tell me about that. I know what it's like. I had a 3-13 team, a 1-50. I know what that's like and turning that around. Now, my issue with the Giants. Last year, I tweeted it when Dallas lost that game in Philly. And they started talking about, I can't believe Dallas letting go, like they're playing hard. Oh, they're just going to throw the game, as if Dallas owes them a favor. And I said, shut up. Feel the pain of missing the playoffs and then go and correct it and fix it this offseason so when you come back this season, you'll show up and make sure you leave it in your own hands. And what did they do? They came back with a 0-3. A 0-3. So that tells me you didn't put the right blame where you need to put the blame on
Which is where?
On themselves.
Jason Garrett. You know Jason
there's
Garrett
no
pretty
doubt.
well.
Let me tell you something. There's no real, I don't know if you ask me what's the identity of the team. I don't know. What are you trying to do? What is that offense trying to do? I like the head coach.
Yeah.
I like he's a disciplinarian. He knows order. I like that. But he doesn't have the right people on a football team to win right now.
I understand that, but I also have to hold him accountable for not having the right coach because he made the grave mistake of contaminating himself with a former Cowboy. I mean, why would you bring somebody that was the head coach of the Cowboys to you as an offensive coordinator within the same division?
You just said yourself that Daniel Jones is playing okay. So that's Coach Garrett right there with Daniel Jones.
Really?
Galladay hadn't been totally healthy. Sterling Shepard has been your leading receiver, and then he gets banged up. You know what I mean? So you can't say, oh, you going to put it all on Jason Garrett?
I'm not putting it all on him.
Garrett,
I'm not putting it all on him. I'm just saying you couldn't get somebody else to do the job that he's doing. Why bring a Cowboy over within the same division? What's that going to do for you?
And the Giants lose a game. Let me tell you something. They lose a game in which they were honoring one of their greatest Giants, in Eli Manning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eli Manning right there. And I'm going to tell you something. The Cowboys are giving rings to Jimmy Johnson and Drew Pearson. You think we're about to go in here and blow this with the Cowboys and everybody getting their Super Bowl rings Monday night? That's why I'm going to be right there.
So you're bragging about the possibility that you're going to beat a team in the Eagles that just fresh off a scored 11 points against San Francisco last week.
Hold up, playmaker. We're not to your team yet because you can evaluate quarterbacks, so I want to know this. So if Daniel Dimes had a real offensive coordinator, a real offensive line, the right weapons around him, how high is his ceiling? Like, what type of quarterback can he actually be in the NFL?
First of all, now you're talking about putting the right kind of players around Daniel. I think the system, because this system, I think, fits his skill set. This system is a timing system. I know I won Super Bowls in this system. You drop back and get rid of the ball. Now, you need those kinds of players. And I know for a fact they went after Allen Robinson because I think he's that kind of player. And he's always on the football field. If you want him to develop, you want Daniel Jones to develop, you need those guys around him always on the football field. I do think the system fits his skill set.
You also need him to hold on to the football. Listen, he came in last week, not this past week, but last week, he came in having 40 turnovers and 18 fumbles since 2019.
No doubt.
Okay? So don't gloss over that.
And Daniel Jones is not a bad quarterback. It's where they picked him now and what's expected from him. That's a difficult thing for him in this situation.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'm not going to knock you for that.
You guys sort of answered my question.
Listen.
The Raiders.
You're going to be hurt for a while.
When it's about New York, you have to accept accountability and responsibility, living up to what New York is supposed to represent. And the Jets and Giants stink, both of them. And they need to get their act together and accept the fact that you're supposed to be representing New York a hell of a lot better than you are. And they are not. And that is the problem.
Where are you on Sox, head coach?
Excuse me?
Where are you on the head coach?
He just started. So I got to wait and see.
I like Joe Judge. I don't feel like he's a problem.
I like
Let's keep going. All right, the Raider, and I like Salt. Quick takes. Let's go. Michael, Josh Allen went off throwing for 358 yards and 4 touchdowns. Michael, should we be paying more attention to the Bills?
Yeah, it's time. We were paying a lot of attention to them. They just lost all that attention when losing to those Pittsburgh Steelers, as they should have lost all their attention. But it's about overcoming. It's about fighting back, and that's exactly what the Buffalo Bills are doing, and that's what they have done. So, yes, they're back in that race where they can get that kind of conversation.
Bills Mafia, stand up. Stephen A. New Orleans gets the win in Foxborough. Do you believe in the Saints?
I believe in their defense. I believe in what I saw them do against the Green Bay Packers. I certainly believe in what I saw them do against the Patriots yesterday. I think the Carolina game was an aberration because the offense was so god-awful.
Yeah.
It compromised them. But this Saints defense
Can't turn with their hips like they need to and start running. So you're running towards them. You can start separating them. This can happen. So, yes, this was a great play. Great play. I love watching that happen.
A 66-yard field goal try for Justin Tucker. Tucker's kick is on the way. It is good! Crossbar, and it tumbles through. Justin Tucker with the longest field goal in NFL history, and it's mayhem on the field. Justin Tucker has silenced the crowd.
It was a day for records as the Ravens got the win after Justin Tucker, as you just saw, kicked a record-long 66-yard field goal as time expired. But a little controversy the play before, as the play clock expired before Lamar Jackson got the snap, but no flag thrown. Obviously a big call as Tucker's kick hit the crossbar and bounced in. Stephen A.
Yeah.
I said this earlier. The Lions have been really playing with a lot of fight, but I mean, with this one, it's getting ridiculous. I know you talk about the Cowboys, the Black Cat, but Detroit, I mean, is this team just cursed?
Well, first of all, they are. It almost seems that way. And I will tell you this. I think the NFL, I think one of the things that's most appalling is the fact that the NFL has them as a part of the Thanksgiving Day every year. What the hell are you on the Thanksgiving every day for? Nobody cares about you outside of Detroit. Nobody cares about the Lions. We all know
care.
that. Yeah, all right, we understand. The point is that nobody gives a damn about the Detroit Lions, okay? They have not won a playoff game since 1991. And this is the curse. This is what I personally call the curse of Bobby Ross. You know what? When you alienate Barry Sanders, the great Barry Sanders, and force him to retire much earlier than anybody wanted to say goodbye to him or wanted to see him going, this is what comes of it. They've had Schwartz. He's taken them to the play. I mean, let's look at some of the. They had Ross, right? Then they had, just Morningwig. They had Mariucci. He tried his best. Our brother Mooch. We love Coach. We love Coach Mooch. Listen, he was contaminated because he was a damn good coach in San Francisco. Goes to Detroit, and then all of a sudden he's on TV. You know why? Because Detroit contaminated him. That's why. The Lions I'm talking about, not the city of Detroit, because I got love for them, okay? Here's the deal. You look at Jim Caldwell, what you get rid of him for? He took you to the playoffs twice. Schwartz was before him. He took you to the playoffs once. These dudes cannot win a playoff game to save their life. They have Matthew Stafford, who we talking about potentially winning the Super Bowl this year. They had him as their quarterback for 12 years. He couldn't win a playoff game. You're damn right they curse. Black cat running around? No, ain't no black cats running around the Lions because the black cats don't even want to be in Detroit. That's what this is right here. Okay, year after year after year, there are things that they shouldn't be doing that they have done. It is what it is. Yesterday was just a microcosm of everything we know them to be. They'll lose because they're inferior, or they'll lose because somebody else has more luck. It doesn't matter. The only consistent thing about the Lions is that when they play, they will lose more than they will win.
Playmaker, before you go, though, they hung in with the Niners, the Packers, and the Ravens.
Right.
I want to give them props for that because obviously those were superior teams.
And they were fighting. They were fighting and trying to win. I sit here and listen to Stephen A. talk about those Lions, and then he said, well, the only game they won was in 91. I kind of just got small because that was me in that game they beat. So, I kind of just got like, okay, maybe you shouldn't say anything this block because it was you that they beat in that game. But, man, it's hard watching. It is, and as I say, guys, it's hard watching these every year. The same thing. Molly, I'm with you, though. Yeah. I'm with you. I see some fight in them. And the head coach said they're going to fight. They're going to bite kneecaps and do all that kind of stuff.
I can't knock what he's done so far.
And they are fighting.
Absolutely. And we'll leave it at that. They're fighting the good fight. Keep going,
They're just going
I got love for you.
Yeah, I understand. You should have love. It ain't going to change it. It ain't going to change it, though. And oh, by the way, it ain't just Barry Sanders. You know what? Megatron. He departed from there, too, even though more so for the concussions than anything else. But, I mean, damn. They got two of the great, all-time great players we have seen in NFL history, rather, from the running back and the wide receiver spot. And they left early.
Yeah.
They left early.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right. The Pistons got a great new player, too. All right, the Raiders are still undefeated as they down the Dolphins in overtime. Derek Carr continues to put up big numbers, throwing for 386 yards, 2 touchdowns. Raiders are now 3-0 for the first time since 2002. The last time the franchise made it to the Super Bowl, what's fueled them this year is their offense. Their 90 points scored are the most through 3 games in 10 years, and their average of 471 yards per game is the best through 3 games in franchise history. Michael, Irvin, talk to me. Are the Raiders for real?
Listen, the Raiders for the first time.
Yeah.
First time in their history, starting 3-0, and every team that they've won from the previous year won 10 games. That's incredible. And you're watching right now, I mean, the real making, or the real arriving, I should say, of Derek Carr. He's here now. He's starting to become that guy that we all thought and hoped that he could be. I think Chucky was losing his bite. And that's why this
took me a second to remember
is so
Chucky
important because Chucky was losing his bite, his fight. I mean, he had it all. I mean, everybody wanted to be Chucky when he did the quarterback school. Everybody, like, he's so great with it. And then he gets this team and he gives Derek Carr, who he talked about in the quarterback school. He would love to coach. He get him, and he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't getting them in the playoffs. Wasn't doing. But this year is different. He has his team now, and I'm telling you right now. The key to it is, can he remain consistent? Can Henry Ruggs remain consistent? I know Darren Waller is going to be consistent. And then when they get Josh Jacobs back, oh my God, Peyton Barber, he ran. This team is absolutely for real. That defense yesterday that stopped Miami in that red zone like that, that's a defense that says we are for real. I like where the Raiders are going. I like where the Raiders are.
Whatever. I gotta see it to believe it. Let's pump the brakes here. Thriller Monday night to open the season against the Ravens. Give them credit where credit is due. Then they go up against the Steelers, which we've all lamented is just a shell of what they used to be. They're not who we thought they were going to, or what I thought they were going to be. Okay, so the Raiders exposed them in the Steel City, in Heinz Field, and we get all of that. Then they go up against Miami yesterday. No Tua Tagovailoa, not that that would have made any difference. You got Jacoby Brissett as your quarterback, who decides to give them 2 points because I don't know if it was Brian Flores or somebody else. What the hell are you doing throwing the football to a dude in your own end zone without a single blocker in front of him, and that gets a safety? That ends up being a 2-point difference, which means there wouldn't have been an overtime, which means that you could have won the game in regulation, but that's neither here nor there. My point to you is this. When we look at who the Raiders have gone up against, we've seen a team that has pulled out some thrillers. We've seen a team that went on the road in Pittsburgh that won 2 home games or whatever. I haven't seen them go against Kansas City yet this year. I haven't seen them go against the Chargers yet this year.
Monday Night Football,
the Denver Broncos are undefeated. I haven't seen that happen yet.
That's coming up in a couple
All I'm trying to say is that, listen, can we wait and see? Because I'm going to say it here. I'm going to say it to you right to your face.
Right.
The way everybody's been bloviating about these Raiders. You know what I'm saying? Because we understand football is better to watch when the Raiders are relevant. Yeah. We understand. We appreciate the silver and black attack. We get there the days of Jack Tatum with John Madden coaching, the Kenny Stablers of the world. We know what time it is. But let me tell y'all something right now. These damn Raiders sound just like them damn Cowboys, okay? All right, it's the Raiders, the Cowboys of the AFC. Well, you know something? Look at them now. Oh, my goodness, every little thing they do, they contenders now. I mean, watch them. Let's see. Oh, stop it, okay? Let me see what they do as the competition stiffens. Because the last 2 weeks, the Ravens, I'll give them. But Pittsburgh with no offense and Miami with so many question marks still almost beat them. Let's see what they do. Let's see what they do.
But what you're missing is how the football gods has laid their hands upon this for the Raiders.
God.
This is exactly. Can you not see him? I mean, R.I.P., man. Al Davis would always just say, just win, baby.
Just win, baby.
Just win,
Just
baby.
win, just win.
And we can talk all of this noise,
Right.
but the Raiders are just winning, baby.
Okay.
And they're winning going up the football field. Is what Al
I would
Davis
remind you,
always
Al
loved.
Davis said that in the 80s. How's that going for them over the last decade or so?
Yeah, that's what I'm
are you
saying.
kidding me?
That's what, this is putting the fright back in Chucky. This offense right here is putting the fright back in Chucky. Chucky has it now. This is the team that he was looking for the whole while.
I know we're in Halloween season and all, but are you going to be saying just win, baby, tonight?
Oh, yeah, just win for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you worried about Jalen Hurts?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Man, listen.
Do they win big? Like, what is, give me your prediction. What is happening tonight? If you're going to be at the game.
The Eagles have been playing great. 0 giveaways, 0 takeaways right now. That's incredible. 162 yards rushing. They're second in the NFL in rushing. And I love what they're doing with Jalen Hurts. They finally gave him an offense, more of an offense. I thought that I would see Justin Fields running. Yeah, they gave him an offense that fits his skill set, and I love it. But all to that, they must fall tonight at that dome in Dallas. And they must fall because Dallas tonight will start commingling the two. Commingling the two. You know, first week you saw that put up 400 yards. You saw with the champ put up 400 yards. Then the second week you saw them rush for 198 yards with that combo rushing attack of Pollard and Elliott. So tonight, they must start working on commingling them. And let me give you 3 people to look at. I want you to study Zach Martin right there in the middle because that's going to play a key factor. Zach Martin and my 2 young studs over there on defense. Come on, young studs. I mean, Michael Parsons going after the quarterback and Trayvon Diggs locking down Devontae Smith. That old dude from Alabama. I'm going to give you something on what's about to happen tonight.
He was just slick because he knows. Because Michael Irvin talks to me off the air sometimes, and he knows I'm a fan of both Trayvon Diggs and Michael Parsons. I love them both. There's some bad brothers. I love Stephon Diggs as well, wide receiver in Buffalo, and that's his brother right there. I love Trayvon Diggs.
Let me tell you what made me
watching him doing soft knocks.
And let me tell you what made me love him watching that, right? Because you see when Leighton Van Ness was on the sideline, he said, hey, you're a young buck, man. He said, you got to make the plays. You got to make the plays you can make. You can't make every play. And you heard what he said? I'm too young to know that. I'm trying to make every play. I said, that's what I'm talking about. Right. You need that in the locker room. Somebody to make everybody else feel bad because they're not trying to make every play. Those dudes are different.
I understand. The fact of the matter is, the Dallas Cowboys should win tonight. They're the better team. They got a high-powered offense. The Philadelphia Eagles don't have that kind of offense, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, and more importantly, once again, just like the Raiders, we don't know what's going on with the Cowboys because look at who they're playing. At the end of the day, when you're in the NFC least,
they played the Bucs.
Open the season.
They played everybody.
And they lost.
They played everybody.
And they lost.
Right.
And they played the Chargers, and they beat them. I got it. All I'm telling y'all is this. I'm talking about the season moving forward. Moving forward. Let's see.